All right, guys. Welcome to Chilling with c.bo. I am your host, c.bo. Juan is not here today, but he'll be here in limited capacity because he'll give us his thoughts on the movie we watched this week. But before we dive into the movie we watched this week, to our fans of Chilling with c.bo, you may have noticed there was not a podcast last week. And that was unfortunately because of Skype and how shitty that whole thing is. I think we were on Skype far longer than we should have been. I should have been finding a better option, but I was kind of lazy and bit me in the ass last week. You guys have had proof. You were witnesses. I was recording the whole time.
You were,
but I pressed the button to stop recording. Didn't stop recording, so I turned it off. And I'm like, all right. It says everywhere that if you end the broadcast by just exiting out, it still should be able to save, but it didn't. And then when I shut down my computer and turned it back on again, wasn't there. I was with Skype support for a while on that chat room, and they couldn't help me. And I was like, wow, this podcast is really lost because it was a good podcast. We talked about a lot of things that happened with the Disney investor meeting, Klaus. That's the thing that hurts me the most. Our thoughts on Klaus are just kind of gone. Like our raw thoughts, Yeah. Klaus did not deserve this. We could talk about Disney shows and stuff whenever we like and all that, but just the Klaus stuff. But to catch up to our fans, we all love Klaus. We all thought it was an amazingly animated film that was a cute origin story of how Christmas came to be and how the Santa we know and love today and how he came to be and everything. So yeah, we all love Klaus, and yeah. You guys have any thoughts on the Dead December 11th podcast?
I'm very sad because we had some pretty solid discussions about a lot of the new stuff that came out with all the announcements from Star Wars and Marvel, and I'm trying to remember other things that we talked about. The Klaus conversation was honestly some of the best stuff because Juan told a great story about his childhood and why Klaus was why it hit home for him. And yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of solid freaking content in that episode.
But you know what? We'll always remember that happened, and it led us to go to a better platform, which is what Juan recommended me and what he uses to record his Inside the Hashes stuff and his podcast. This is StreamYard, and as of right now, you guys are able to get in really easier, and the audio is actually, A1,
crispy.
Yes, with Skype, there's a lot of bad reception, and like sometimes the audio will go in and out. So sometimes when I was editing it, I couldn't hear your full takes, and it was kind of annoying. So I'm like, God damn. So yeah, I'm enjoying this so far, and it looks like we're gonna be sticking to it. Yeah. Pedro, any thoughts on the Dead December 11th podcast?
Our discussions of Klaus were very memorable, to say the least. And I wish they would have been kept for posterity.
Yeah.
But we can watch the movie whenever we want, but our feelings for it, they'll stay.
Yeah, you're right
about it. So so it doesn't matter if it's gone or not. We know, so that's what matters.
That is true. You're right.
And our discussion about the whole Warner Brothers screwing over their directors and our in-depth discussion of what's that we're on, that felt really fun to talk about.
Yeah, we got heated. It was very cathartic to get out, but hopefully there's gonna be more news about that regarding all that. So I'm hoping whenever the next tidbit of news that comes out regarding that, we'll talk about it when we get there. All right.
Well, there is a tidbit of news, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay. So I guess we're gonna start out and go into the movie of the week, which was a classic action movie. And I consider when watching this movie again, I'm like, this is the action movie that kind of broke action movies, where we have to rethink everything. And the debate about it and whether or not it's a Christmas movie or not, we'll go over that. It's Die Hard, starring Bruce Willis and the rest in peace Alan Rickman as the bad guy. And yeah, any of you guys want to start with talk about Die Hard?
Jack, can you take
Sure. I mean, I've seen Die Hard probably like half a dozen times. Like this movie, I kind of grew up with this movie, and it's I don't know, it got me into the Die Hard trilogy, or not trilogy. There's like 6 or 7 Die
There's
Hard movies
5,
now.
but we don't
There's
talk about
5.
the 5th one. We don't talk about the
Okay.
5th one.
Shouldn't really even talk about the 4th one either.
4th
In
one's
all honesty.
underrated. In my opinion.
I don't know about that. I've probably seen that one more so than the first Die Hard movie, and I can say for certainty that after, even after like the second movie, it's you kind of feel like, this is weird. And I know the third one had Samuel L. Jackson. They were handcuffed together and they were going through New York solving, bomb puzzles. Like that's pretty cool, but at the same time, there's something about the first one that just hits differently. Like it's all confined into one location, which is the office building. And to the few of you that are listening and have not seen Die Hard before, it's about a cop and his wife go to his wife's office party for Christmas when the building gets taken over by terror. I believe I forget what country Alan Rickman
German.
is supposed to be. Germany. Their German terrorists come and take over the building, and Bruce Willis, who plays John McClane, breaks apart from the group and stealthily goes through and takes them all out one by one. And it's a cat and mouse game of, Alan Rickman versus Bruce Willis. And it is, there's like a bunch of memorable quotes, and there's a lot of tropes from Die Hard that get brought over into other movies. And you kind of notice when certain movies make an homage to this movie. And it's just a freaking rad movie. And I'm glad we got to watch it again. I kind of wanted to watch the second one for Christmas, but you know what? I'll just watch the second one on Christmas. But this was I think this is a Christmas movie.
Okay. Pedro, have you seen Die Hard before this?
No.
So
why did I go first then? You should have been talking about it the whole time.
So Pedro, what did you think of Die Hard?
Favorites, Jack, and I thought you deserved to have the first word.
Lies.
Truth.
Tell us about it. What did you think?
Well, what I can just it is good. In that it is a Christmas movie because of one thing that Alan Rickman said. The whole situation is a miracle, and miracles only happen on Christmas.
All right.
Like, what are the freaking odds? This guy, this beat cop from New York City, comes to LA to his wife's work, and in the middle of it all, a thief from Germany who was part of a terrorist group and who's some kind of super genius tries to take $640 million from the same company his wife works at. And then he goes one by one, picking up all his men and killing left and right. Like, first of all, this is a cop. He shouldn't even have this kind of training. Like, everything is made to believe that it's improvised and not thought out carefully. Like, oh, what's this? Oh, I guess I'll do this. Oh, this is C4. Oh, they're shooting down. I'll just drop it down the elevator shaft. Like, what the hell? How do you think so fast, man? I mean, I know cops.
It's the adrenaline of the moment, man.
Does adrenaline make you super intelligent?
It makes Bruce Willis super intelligent.
It makes Bruce Willis super intelligent.
Also, as a German speaker myself, when the guys are speaking German, it just like clicked like, oh shit, they really did their homework for this movie. They are speaking really good German. and Alan Rickman, I'll be honest, there were times when his his German accent kind of fell. Like
he's a British guy. Like, come on.
Yeah, but an actor of his caliber should be able to keep an accent going. All right.
I think, well, his performance elevates it, because of how good he is
and how psychotic he was.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's insane in this movie.
Did you know that during the scene when he's supposed to fall, the director didn't tell him, like, he was going to say 1, 2, 3, fall. But then he said 1 and then just dropped him. So the image of Hans falling is really Alan Rickman's real reaction from falling without expecting it.
Oh man, that's
Also,
funny.
Holly.
c.bo, what did you think of this movie?
Did you like this movie, Pedro?
Oh yeah,
I did like this movie, but I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
Holly. Jack, John, you deserve better than Holly. She up and moved her whole life to LA for a job opportunity without telling you. She does tell you, but she does it even when you say no. You don't discuss it. I understand that this is a big job for her, and that it's a big opportunity and lots of money and a good life for her family. But you gotta take his side too. He's a cop. Cops have a lot of backlog to get through. All right.
So it's okay. They get a divorce in sequels, so it's fine. He comes to his senses.
I want to cancel all the other sequels because I like the happy ending that they finally can see eye to eye.
Yeah, they could have left it off here. Yeah, they definitely
could have been a one-off movie and it would have been a classic forever. And then
it still is a classic, though.
Yeah, but then we would have gotten the second one where he blows up a plane, and that was freaking rad. And then we wouldn't have gotten Samuel Jackson, and then we wouldn't have gotten what's his face? I can't remember. Who's the nerd?
Wong.
Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten Justin Wong to be in a Die Hard movie, making a bunch of 2000s references to the internet. Like, we would have missed out on so much gold.
Oh man.
Well,
I love Die Hard 4, man. Die Hard, Live for Your Die Hard. I love that movie. It's not really a Die Hard movie. It's a really good action movie with Bruce Willis.
It's not a Die Hard movie.
But it's a good action. It's a solid action movie, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will agree.
all in all, it's a solid action movie with lots of good thrills and lots of good action sequences and a lot of jaw-dropping moments.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they would have, sanded out the characters more, like define them better, like with Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from my perspective, she's such a bitch.
Jesus Christ. All right.
c.bo, tell us your thoughts.
So I'm like Jack. I've seen this movie a lot of times in my life. It's been a kind of a staple. And yes, I do agree it is a Christmas movie because, it may not be about the values of the holiday itself, but it's set during the holiday and it's about family overall, So, it has some really good Christmas aesthetic. When I was watching it, this time, what really got me was how great this movie does at humanizing the protagonist. Because you got to remember, at this time, before this movie, action movies were star Clint Eastwood, Stallone, or Schwarzenegger.
John Wayne.
Yeah, they're all very macho men. And I'm not saying Bruce Willis isn't macho, but there's a human side to him that we all can get behind, and it just makes the action just more satisfying when he gets through it. Because this guy gets beat the fuck up the whole movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love when action movies beat the protagonist because it makes them more vulnerable and relatable. And you're like, oh, can this guy get out of it? Because, I love Stallone, I love Schwarzenegger, but they're always on top of things,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this was kind of the first time where an action movie of this scale will star a person that, the average guy like us can get behind. And that's what succeeds most about this movie and why this movie is so iconic and what I consider to be one of the most important action movies ever, because it's such a human movie. It's about a guy who trying to save his marriage and, and something happens. And the only thing he can do is just think on his feet, I guess no pun intended, and and just try to get out of the situation. And what also is really effective is the buddy cop element with the dad from Family Matters. I love that guy. I thought it was such a really good storyline of how this cop, just he was a death jockey, and then and him bonding with Bruce Willis, and all that is really good stuff, really human stuff. And that's what I feel like a lot of action movies are kind of missing. when they rip off Die Hard. They miss the human elements of it, and they see all the action, the explosion, all the badass stuff. But what makes this movie so effective is the human side of it, and that's why. And honestly, when I was watching it as well, this kind of pulled the Scream before Scream with so many pop culture references and them being aware of the common action tropes that of the time. So it was like, wow, this movie's really clever and really well written. And I'm like, yeah, I love this movie, and it's gonna live on for the rest of human civilization. And yeah, people are gonna watch it. Yeah.
Is it in that directory for films that The Dark Knight and Shrek just got into?
What do you say? What did you say? Sorry.
That directory in Washington?
Yes.
The Dark Knight and Shrek?
Yes. Die Hard is in this. I want to say it's there as well. Let me look that up real quick.
In the meantime, I have a fun fact, or a few fun facts about this movie. Did you know that Bruce Willis had 17 different undershirts throughout the filming of this? Throughout this filming, to show the deterioration of his costume throughout it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. To answer your question, Pedro, yes, it is in the National Film Registry. Yes, so this movie will get preserved for. Yeah.
Do you know he also donated one of those undershirts to? Oh gosh, what museum was it? Hold on, I'm looking for it. But he donated one of those undershirts to a museum where
was it National History?
I think it might have been the National History Museum
In Washington?
Yeah,
because there's a lot of movie props in that museum. I know Rocky Shorts.
R2D2 and C3PO in that museum.
Yeah, and Rocky Shorts are there as well.
Yes.
Do you guys have any more thoughts on Die Hard?
I think the debate is over. I think Die Hard 2 or Die Hard. Whoops. Well, both of them are Christmas movies. I think this is a Christmas movie because it shows family values in a different way.
Yeah.
I remember Die Hard 2.
And it ends on Let It Snow. Like, come on.
Yeah. The best way to end a Christmas movie.
It's the definition of a Christmas movie. It's a definition of a Christmas movie. A miracle in a tough situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well said. Well, you guys agree with me though that this kind of like how like kind of meta this movie was, and like it kind of like kind of paved the way for stuff like Scream. I feel like.
Yeah.
What was meta about it?
Well, just like they always like kind of reference like John Wayne. They mentioned Schwarzenegger and Stallone and all that. Mm-hmm. Like they were aware of the action movies of that time and made references to them. And I'm just wow, I've never really noticed that. Yeah.
Like John Wayne's Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker is a riff off of Western, like a Western catchphrase of a not so popular Western that Bruce Willis had watched or seen, or that the writers had watched or seen. But the fact that his is now more popular, or one of the most popular catchphrases, goes to show that the homage is, the homage is better than the original in a sense.
And I was like, what was I about to say? And like, at one point, Bruce Willis was one of the biggest stars in the world, and it's because of this movie and like how just likable and charismatic he was, but also just he was like every other asshole in the world, as well.
Hey, who here watches Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I catch episodes every now and then. I should watch more of it.
Now I know why this is Jake's favorite movie.
Oh God, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And I just also wanted to point out that he always gets referred to as a cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your guys' favorite action scene in this movie?
In this movie, it's kind of a tie between the last couple of scenes and the glass.
Yeah.
Like the glass room.
That always makes me cringe, man.
Actually, I think my favorite scene might be when McClane sends the dude down in the elevator. It says, "Ho ho ho, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Now I have
painted in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's talking to Alan Rickman through the walkie. That it's a tie between the glass scene and that reveal of like John McClane's no pushover kind of a thing.
Yeah. The glass scene always gets me, because I just
you feel it. You're like, oh no.
Yeah. What about you, Pedro? What scene got you?
Definitely the I have a machine gun now, ho 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 part, because that gave it kind of a thriller vibe in that, you know, he has like a twisted sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it added depth to his character in that, you know, he's pissed off. Someone tried to kill him, and now and this guy worked for you, so now I'm coming after you, you motherfucker.
A lot of motherfuckers in this movie.
Yeah.
So Juan said
Jackson should charge for royalties.
So Juan sent me his thoughts, and we'll listen to those once the podcast is out. So yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, hope you all are having a great podcast today. I will have to confess something. I was not able to watch Die Hard this morning or anytime this week just because of how extremely crazy my schedule has been with football season going on. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And it's just been really difficult. But I do, and it's my regret that I wasn't able to, because I've been, complaining about watching Die Hard for so long and wanting to be a part of it and wanting to like really dive into the debate. And I'm just so sad that I wasn't able to do it. However, based on, I do watch a show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think that Pedro and Captain Jack can attest to it. And what I can say is Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie, solely based on the fact that it's about a man not only trying to save people during one of the most, united and most heartwarming time of the years, but also because, it's a chance for families to gather together by the fire and just watch, Germans get killed by the American hero in John McClane. And you can have your Jack Skellington trying to become the figure of Halloween. You can have your Tim Allen trying to become Santa Claus. Heck, you can even have your Macaulay Culkin getting lost in New York and being chased by Joe Pesci. It doesn't matter to me. I will always take John McClane action movie. A Bruce Willis action movie that I can share with my family over trying to learn the spirit of.
Yeah, but anyway. What is our next movie? It's the final week of December. Next week's our last podcast of the year.
Next week's also Christmas.
Yes, as well. Yes, as well.
Are we recording? We are recording on Christmas?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was going to be my main question. I'm like, do you guys want to spend Christmas together?
Can you, Jack? Can you pull off the 23rd? It's a Wednesday.
Can I pull off the 23rd? I mean, I'll be. Same thing. I'm working every day up until Christmas Eve, so
yeah,
I could find a way.
No, I'm just saying, like, can you do the afternoon, like around this time on the 23rd?
Yeah, probably.
All right, what are you, Pedro?
I have to check because I've been getting a lot of calls for work lately.
Okay.
But I'll let you know.
Do you think Juan is busy or?
Juan, Wednesday he won't be busy. There's no football on Wednesday.
But, all these COVID cases, they could delay it,
That is true.
Okay.
I should be okay with it.
Because the week after, I'm gonna be going away a little bit. I'm going to the Poconos. So I don't know if I'll be able to sneak out another podcast after that, but we'll see. But we'll go all out for the next week. And if there's another podcast after that, cool. If they're not, whatever. We'll see you guys. We'll see our fans in 2021.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
Hopefully it's a
crazy.
better year. Yeah. But anyway, guys, what's gonna be our final Christmas movie of 2020? What's gonna be it? Juan wanted to see Nightmare Before Christmas. Here's
the thing. I'm never not down to see A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a phenomenal movie. Everyone should like. Yes, I will say everyone should like that movie. There's nothing. I cannot. Maybe it's nostalgia. I cannot think of anything that. I cannot think of any faults in that movie. It's great.
what are you, Pedro?
Well, to me, it's more of a Thanksgiving movie.
Ooh, that's a hot take. We'll be saving for next week.
Well, think about it. It's Halloween Town. taking over Christmas. What's the middle ground of that? Thanksgiving.
And there is a Thanksgiving tree in that movie.
Pedro's doing the exact hand motions that I'm doing.
I can't even see you.
Oh my gosh, that's why I'm laughing so hard, because you read it through my mind. Like, there's Halloween and there's Christmas. What's in the middle? Yeah.
Look, I could do Nightmare Before Christmas. I usually watch it on Halloween, but I didn't this year, so it'd be nice.
Maybe you'll get something different out of it watching it this time of the year.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a warm, fuzzy feeling inside for candy.
Yeah. All right, cool. Nightmare Before Christmas it is. We're fulfilling Juan's request.
Hoopla.
Hoopla.
Oh,
all right, cool. So okay, what's our next topic?
Something Christmas?
Yes, it is the final push before Christmas. You guys have any plans or anything going on that you guys have it? First of all, is all your shopping done or no?
Yes.
Yeah, thank God it's done. My budget was outrageous.
I did all of my Christmas shopping in November.
Wow.
So.
I wish I was ahead of the game like you, because to be fair, like 90% of it is done for me. I just finding something for the parents is really hard, I feel like.
Yeah.
Usually I start in the summer when I go into New York.
Oh, Pedro, to be like you would be nice.
You know me, I love Christmas. I love giving gifts.
I do too, but I'm just a procrastinator.
I know.
I'm doing a white elephant this year with my friends, and this is the first time they've ever done a white elephant before, because normally we do a Secret Santa, but because we haven't been able to get together to draw names for a Secret Santa, I suggested we do the white elephant, because that way it doesn't matter who you get a gift for, because it's a free for all. You guys have done a white elephant before, right?
What the hell is a white elephant? I have no.
Okay, so a white elephant is everyone gets gifts. Everyone brings a gift, and you decide who goes first at picking gifts. Like you draw a number, you play rock paper scissors to see who the winner of the winner gets to go first. But the thing is, you go over and you pick whatever gift you want out of the stack, and then the next person goes. Now, from that point on, the following person gets to choose whether they want to steal the last person's gift or to take a new gift.
That sounds very convoluted.
Yeah. So depending on where you are in the order, you could wind up picking a really shitty gift, but then taking and giving the shitty gift to someone else. So it's really just for, shits and giggles. You don't get anything, like, you're not giving each other flat screen TVs or anything like that. Knowing my friends, there might be some phallic lollipops in there at some point.
Oh my god!
just for giggles. And you know what? If I wind up with that kind of lollipop, I'm gonna eat it because they're tasty.
Last time I did white elephant, I got this.
The tiny Nerf gun.
Yeah, I got it from Victoria.
Or is it a Smurf gun? Is it off-brand?
It looks like you're packing there, man.
Well, take it easy.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy. I don't want any trouble.
I got.
You sound like Christopher Walken right there.
You know.
I don't want any trouble.
I'm not asking for trouble.
Yeah, I got this from Victoria from the app White Elephant thing.
Okay, so you've done a white elephant before, so you get the idea.
Yeah, weren't you with me when that happened?
Holy shit, when was that?
It was 2018.
Wow, that was holy shit, that was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know if I was there, because at that point I was home. Or was I home? When did I go on my trip? No, I went on my trip last year. So I might have went, because I don't think I had
You were still training me for tech crew.
Yes, that's right. I remember because it felt weird because we graduated. Some of us graduated in 2018, so then it's hard to remember where I was at the end of 2018. I'm pretty sure I didn't have a job at that time.
Yeah.
So I probably went to Victoria's. It's hard to remember the good years of being able to go out in public and not get your friends sick or whatever.
I was just not wearing a mask, you know.
Yeah. Having large mass gatherings of people and just being like, and just hacking on each other, like, we all have great immune systems here.
Mass immunity.
You get people that fucking don't cover their mouth when they sneeze, and you're like, ah, gross, but you're good. But yeah.
Of, no, keep going, Jack.
No, I'm just rambling, dude.
Keep the rambling going because I feel like
back in my day.
Because I feel like we're going to talk about a lot next week regarding Christmas and all that because it's our special end of year podcast. So I'm like, this podcast is gonna be shorter than most podcasts. I feel like.
So then let's talk about some of the stuff that got disappeared in the last podcast. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we wanted to see from some of the new Star Wars stuff, some of the new Marvel stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll do a quick thing.
Wait, before ending.
Yeah.
You guys watch the final episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
That's a c.bo question.
We'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about that next week because I know Juan, because I want Juan to catch up with it next week, and so we could do a full dive of Mandalorian season 2.
Please, because what the fuck was that thing?
Force Juan to catch up.
I'm having him watch My Hero Academia, so it's gonna be hard.
Ooh, what season?
He's on season 1, episode 6.
Okay. You know what? Honestly, like because of work and Christmas shopping and all this jazz, I have not watched a single. Oh, that's a lie. I've been slowly catching up on TV shows, and it kind of sucks because I can't wait till Christmas because I'm just I feel like that's what I'm gonna do all day.
Make sure to stack up on snacks.
Oh man, all I want for Christmas is snacks. Can I get my own Costco card for Christmas? Oh, actually, wait a second. That's a wonderful gift. I gotta go.
You get a giant jar of Cheetos.
I can get a whole container of the peanut butter pretzels.
What's your favorite snack?
The peanut butter pretzels, like like they're pretzel nuggets, but they have little pockets of peanut butter in them.
Yeah, I'm
good. Oh my god!
When it comes to fiending for a snack, I love my spicy sweet Doritos, the purple bag. Oh yeah.
I prefer cheddar cheese popcorn, white cheddar popcorn.
Ooh, cheddar popcorn is oof. Yeah.
A gourmet popcorn connoisseur over here.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have it enough. I need to get into more gourmet.
I haven't had that shit since 5th grade.
5th grade. Go back to it.
That's when I was in Colombia and I had snacks.
Oh man. Oof. Costco card wouldn't be that bad, to be honest.
Costco card. Listen, man, like you wanna treat someone right. You get them a Costco gift card. Get them wholesale prices.
Idea for your birthday.
I could do it for my birthday. That would happy 25th birthday. Here's a Costco card.
You're 24?
I am 24. Yes, because it's 2020 and I was 96, so I am 24.
Damn, I thought you were 94, baby.
Nah, I am a wee lad, even though my face looks like that of a 40-year-old man.
I saw you on Instagram, like, dude, your beard grew so much.
Oh yeah,
was your face.
I will show my face for the next podcast. Don't worry. I just have to figure out because I know c.bo was trying to find a new streaming thing, and I think I can use the streaming setup that I use for Twitch on here because I got a weird like pop up for it just before I joined the chat room. So I might try that. But
interesting.
We'll see.
Are you on your phone or your PC?
I'm currently on my PC because my headphones are currently connected to that, and I'm also trying to find out where the heck some of the stuff I ordered is, because I ordered stuff at the beginning of the month, and they estimated it would come this week, and there's no updates on UPS.
Well, the storm kind of hit hard.
But like they said it.
Yeah, keep going.
They're saying they're saying it was supposed to arrive 2 days ago, right? It had not updated its location since I had ordered it like 2 weeks prior. So it's just lost in the ether. Maybe I just got to appreciate the fact that the postal service is a thing.
So Jack, the biggest. So I forgot to mention this in the chat, but I guess we'll talk about it right now. So you've been playing Cyberpunk, but Cyberpunk has been one of the most controversial games of recent times now, especially on consoles, because with the recent news that it got pulled from the PlayStation Store and that Sony is actually offering refunds for it. So what do you think about all that? Like, what is your thoughts on Cyberpunk as of, in the second week, even if you're just on PC, so what the hell happened to this game? Like,
I think because they had to span such a wide market, right? They advertised this game to be compatible on what is now currently last gen consoles, what is now the new generation of consoles, and PC. So they had to make it cover about nine or 10 different versions of this game. When
also Stadia.
Yeah, Stadia. But like what I'm trying to get at is like they've had to cover so much ground on all these different devices, and some of these devices don't even have the proper like hardware to run this game. Like that's why there's so many people having issues with it on like what is now the last gen consoles. Like if you have a standard PS4 and a standard Xbox One, you cannot play this game. Like it is impossible to play this game. If you have a PS4 Pro, like my buddy has, he says he can play it. It's fine for him. I've heard that from some other people that the Xbox, I don't remember Xbox numbers because they're all weird.
Xbox One X, the 4K version.
Yes, the Xbox One X can also play it at a reduced frame rate and everything like that. But everyone has this high standard that they need to play their games at 240 FPS at 4K. But you have to realize, like, the PS4 is several years old now, and the PS4 Pro is still like a couple years old at this point. I, as a consumer, bought Cyberpunk on PC knowing that I, as a PS4 standard owner, knew I was not going to be able to play this game. I knew that. So I bought it on PC, and I have had some. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have graphical issues with this game. Sometimes backgrounds don't load in immediately. Sometimes glitches happen. But you know what? 2 weeks in, that's fine. I bought this game with the understanding that the company had to release the game at some point, and because people don't want to wait anymore, they released the game, and they didn't get to do everything that they needed to do.
So you say people's impatience that this game is sucking?
Yes.
But let me ask you this, Jack. This game was announced in 2012 towards the tail end of the 360 PS3 generation. This game had every full intention of being on the PS4 and the Xbox One. But now that it isn't, it's essentially broken on the system that it was meant to be announced for. What are your thoughts on that? Because to me personally, I think that's kind of shitty on CD Projekt Red to announce this essentially 8 years ago for a system. They couldn't get it done until the tail end of this current gen, and now they relied on the extra power of the new consoles to get it somewhat playable.
You also have to keep in mind that the teams that they had set up for Cyberpunk at that time were split, because in 2015 The Witcher 3 would come out, and to the hundreds of hundreds and thousands of people that have played The Witcher 3, they know that game is dense. There's a lot of stuff in The Witcher 3. So the Cyberpunk 2077 team at that time was minuscule. Probably a handful of people were working on the game at that time. And then in 2016, once production could officially start for Cyberpunk, more people were requested to work on the game. CD Projekt Red put in grants and requests so that they can have the funding so that they can then start working on it. And then they started partnering with a bunch of companies like Nvidia and other companies that are inherently PC companies. So they're working with companies that have the most up-to-date equipment. So while it is shameful that they announce a game gets announced too soon, and when they think it's going to work for this console, they instead push it so that it works with the newest consoles. It makes more sense when you're partnered with companies that have the latest in technology, because you want to create the most beautiful version of your game. So then why would you focus on give me 1 second. Words. But why would your focus be on keeping it for previous platforms and not making sure it's most optimized for the newest platforms? I understand that they said it should have come out and it should have been compatible for the original consoles that they had said it was going to come out for, but they had different priorities at the time, and they had to struggle to even get the funds that they needed in order to get started on working on the game. And it's difficult because it's a franchise that has never been tackled before, and it's with a company that hasn't tackled this type of thing before. Like the Witcher property was a book series owned by a Polish author, and there was very low stakes for it. Like they had control of the game from the first one to the third one, so it was entirely it could have pretty much been their entire IP by itself. But Cyberpunk it has its own fan base to it, and keeping true to that fan base and doing the research and making sure that they're creating this world, their priorities wound up deviating from compatibility and more towards faithfulness, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. But to go back on the topic of making the game compatible for the older generation, I can't really say for certain what their priorities were, but I believe that I can't really say much, but I believe that their priorities were focusing on making sure that the game runs to some extent on most platforms. And if it meant that they only got 7 out of the 9 console generations, or they only got 5 out of the 9, like they released the game knowing that people have been waiting for this game for so long, and they tried to make it fit within a market margin. And I do think part of it is us to blame, because we've been wanting this game for so long, and we pushed CD Projekt Red to the point where they had to release the game. And the second they released it, they realized like there's a ton of problems.
But let me just have a little counterpoint where it's like, PS5s and Xbox Series X's are very hard to come by nowadays. They're sold out within seconds whenever they go on sale. You can't even go to a store to get one, because most stores are just online orders only. So there's only like 5 to 10 million of these consoles out in the wild, and there's over 100 PS4s now, over 100 million PS4 nows that have been sold, and there's probably over 50 million Xbox Ones out in the wild. Wouldn't you think it's more financially viable to make sure the previous console generations were optimized? Because it's just more financially makes sense. Because how could you make a profit out of something so expensive on a system that is barely out yet. Like it's not many people have it, and it's very hard to come by. And there's not going to be a healthy amount of PS5 and Xbox Series X owners until at least a year. So that's just my point, where it's like, yes, this game got over ambitious, and yes, they kept adding new ideas. And I kind of feel for the developers because they have to work not only their asses off, but they put their blood, sweat, and tears in this damn game. And for it to have so much controversy and so much fan backlash, you kind of feel for them. I don't feel for the higher ups. The higher ups were part of the reason why this happened, because they forced this game onto the market. But that's just like my point, where it's like there's over 100 million of the PS4s and Xbox Ones. So it's like, wouldn't you think it's they should focus on that too? No,
and I agree to that. And I also have to point out though that more often than not, like when you release a game on PC, the PC market is huge.
Of course it is. I know that. Of course.
Yeah, the PC market kind of overcomes a lot of the console market. Now, regardless of that, though, you're right. There are a lot of people out there that don't have access to a PC that could run this game, even though that it is a large market. And I do agree. Like keeping out certain markets and stuff is very much a corporate mentality of like, well, we can hit the biggest market and kind of supplement the other markets, but as long as we hit that one big market, I think we'll be okay. And it sucks that this game had to fall into that conflict, and now CD Projekt Red has to scramble to try and fix all of these games. And it's no wonder, because once you start getting into the console markets, you have to then deal with more red tape of getting certain things compatible and approved, and you're essentially, from the limited knowledge that I have of game design and everything, you have to make sure that your one game can run on 3 or 4 separate types of operating systems. And Sony and Xbox are Sony more so than Xbox it's very difficult to get anything pushed forward through PlayStation. So it takes time. Updates for PlayStation happen sometimes weeks after they get released on Xbox or PC, and because they have to be greenlit for certain qualities of life and everything like that. So it sucks. And the fact that this game has to go through all these hoops is detrimental, because from playing this game, I've played about 10-12 hours because of the limited time that I've been able to play it. I love it. It's incredible.
And I'm glad you are loving it. No.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite games ever. And it sucks that it's difficult for people to get their hands on this game in a working
version of this game.
Yeah. Because and that's why I've started streaming it for, some of my friends, because some of them either don't have the PC to run it, or they just want to see what the game even looks like before they even give it a chance. So I've wanted to share the game with people. Like every time I play the game so far, I've been streaming it so people can check it out and see why I love the game so much, and why anyone who's able to play the game and can stomach some of the glitches that it has, like why they enjoy it as well. Because it's a lot of fun. The world is super enjoyable. You get to stab people with robot hands. Like it's just it's crazy. The design, the fashion that goes into it, the way that the types of characters you interact with, the cars, the guns, the freaking swords, and the missions you go on. It's just it's a blast. Like it's everything that I would, to the extent of a game could be, that I was waiting for when they first started talking about Cyberpunk.
Well, I'm glad you got fortunate enough to get a good version of it, and I hope more people get convinced of the game. when they watch your stream, and hopefully one day when the console versions are patched up and playable, people can enjoy it as much as you.
I think it just needs time.
Yeah.
Wait till after. I think it'd be crazy to say it, but I feel like once 2021 starts up, and it shouldn't have to wait that long, but I feel around the beginning of 2021, this game will finally, hopefully, be in such a working order that more people get to play it. I've been seeing places where they're offering it at a reduced price, and like you said before, they're pulling it from the marketplace and they're doing full refunds and stuff like that. People deserve to do that, but you know what? I paid full price for Cyberpunk, and I'm okay with that. And if people want to, if it winds up later that people wind up paying $30 for this game by 2021 and all that, like, you know what? I'm glad that I'm thankful that I paid full price for it. And I know not a lot of people are, but I wanted this game. I wanted to support the company that made this game. So I'm happy to have paid full price for this game.
Pedro, you have any stake in this in this debate of Cyberpunk? Were you interested in this game at all, or?
Not really. I really got no dog in this race.
All right. So I guess this is the end of our podcast. We rambled on a little bit. We talked about the controversy of the week with Cyberpunk, but hopefully it gets better because I want people to enjoy this massive game that they were waiting for. Any last things on your guys' mind before we go?
Just have a happy holidays, I guess.
Yes.
In case we are not able to get back together one last time just before the year ends. Oh my gosh, it's almost 2021. We made it.
We made it.
We made it.
May we live to see 2022.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully.
That's a lot of twos. I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah.
What about 22?
Well, what about 2022? Like
2022.
Oh, I meant 2022. My bad.
20. You can say both. It's the same.
Yeah, but 2000 sounds weird.
Yeah.
2022. Like we don't say 19,085. We say 1985.
Well, it technically be 1,985.
That sounds even worse.
Yeah.
1,985.
Back in the year 1812.
All right, guys. It was always a pleasure. We'll be back next week. Juan will join us, and we'll talk. Pedro, you get Juan to finish The Mandalorian, and also Night Before Christmas as well, and just plenty of Christmas talk and all that.
Hell yeah.
Jack, are you up to date with Mando?
Me?
Jack's gonna watch it later.
That's my goal for 2021 is to watch The Mandalorian. Okay,
it's short.
I'll catch up to you kids in your Star Wars.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll be back next week.
Alrighty, later.
Later, y'all.
You never see it coming. You'll be dinner and right. God.